Football, 100 million simulations to Football King. Episode 61. One special football career, crazy promotion. In 2020, you are 34 years old, you joined the Bundesliga team OE for free. In 2021, you are 35 years old, the season is over, and you have decided to retire after careful consideration. From then on, your football career is completely over. Physical attributes of 26 years old, score 45. Technical attributes of 26-year-old, score 49. Mental attributes of 30-year-old, score 53. Life experience of 35 years old. Choose body attributes. Your current physical attribute 45, technical attribute 45, spiritual attribute 51. Toulon suddenly felt a hot current surging through his whole body. There was a feeling of warmth, and the cells in his body seemed to have awakened. Toulon's movement was a little big, and Mendes, who was sitting next to him, looked at Toulon strangely. Toulon ignored Mendes and continued to check on his previous football career, slowly comparing his previous football career. Immediately afterward, Toulon conducted another simulation. This time he chose to return to Lyon. In 2004, at the age of 18, you joined League One side Lyon for a transfer fee of £10 million. In 2005, when you were 19 years old, you gradually played the main position, and at the end of the season, you scored 16 goals and won the League One Silver Boots. You scored 5 goals in the Champions League and became a rising star in the world's attention. In 2006, you were 20 years old, a torn cruciate ligament in a Champions League match, and the season was reimbursed. In 2021, you are 35 years old, the season is over, and you have decided to retire after careful consideration. Since then, your career has been completely over. Physical attributes of 21-year-old, score 45. Technical attributes of 27-year-old, score 47. Mental attributes of 30-year-old, score 51. Life experience of 35 years old. Select technical properties. Your current physical attribute 45, technical attribute 47, spiritual attribute 51. After this football career test, Toulon got his own inference. Starting at Lille, you can get seriously injured until you are 30 years old, for 2 reasons. The first reason is that Lille is a small team, there is not much internal competition, the opponent will not be particularly targeted for fouls, and the natural loss of body is small. The second reason is that when he transferred to Real Madrid at the age of 23, he has been sitting on the cold bench, and he has no chance to play at the same time, and there is no opponents killing and fouling, which is equivalent to recuperating in Real Madrid for a full 4 years. After returning to Ligue 1, Paris Saint-Germain played for 3 years, before being injured. The 3 simulations of Lyon show that Lyon is very competitive internally, prone to injury in training, and as the boss of Ligue 1 at the time, he was taken care of by the remaining 19 teams. As the main shooter, he is naturally well taken care of. With 45 physical attributes, it seems that it is still not very free from injury. The most important thing is your own characteristics, which should not play a role in the simulation career, otherwise it will not hurt like this. With my current level of X resistance, in my simulation career, I am not enough to be the main scorer of the Giants, so I can try the small teams in other leagues. Toulon immediately remembered Porto, who reached the final of the Champions League this year. Didn't Mendes say Porto was good? It just so happens that Porto is the boss of the Portuguese Premier League. Then Toulon wants to see if the Portuguese Super League can play. In 2004, at the age of 18, you joined Portuguese Premier League side Porto for a transfer fee of £10 million. In 2005, when you were 19, you were isolated by your teammates and basically didn't have time to play, and at the end of the season, you scored 0 goals. In 2006, when you were 20 years old, you still basically didn't have time to play, and at the end of the season, you scored 0 goals. In 2007, when you were 21 years old, you finally got the new head coach and gradually played the main position, and at the end of the season, you scored 10 goals. In 2016, you were 30 years old and transferred to the Soviet Super League team Dundee United for €3 million. In 2021, when you are 35 years old, you have torn your cruciate ligament in a certain game, the season is reimbursed, and you have decided to retire after careful consideration. From then on, your football career is completely over. Physical attributes of 18-year-old, score 46. Technical attributes of 18-year-old, score 47. Mental attributes of 18-year-old, score 51. Life experience of 35 years old. Toulon did not know what to say. This football career is very lucky, even at the age of 35 to be seriously injured, directly retired. But the first 3 years of his career were completely on the cold bench. After 16 years of football career, the technical attributes and mental attributes have not improved at all. Toulon felt that he could not do it in the Portuguese Premier League. Basically there was no improvement. When I went to Porto in 2005, what was the ghost of being isolated by my teammates? Toulon decided to look at his life experience. The fragment of this period of life experience instantly flooded into Toulon's mind. Toulon's mind immediately appeared in this football career, his 6 years in the Soviet Super League team Dundee United. At that time, when I went to Dundee United was already 30 years old, probably everything was fixed, plus the difficulty of Suchau was limited, and it was not able to stimulate Su Long's potential, so Su Long played football for 6 years. The same is true of the previous team, that is, Su Long is an ordinary player in it, an ordinary component, and Su Long has not been able to grow in it. So after 15 years, the property has not grown at all. The last fragment is Su Long's 3 years in Porto. Through these fragments, Su Long finally knew what was going on. Porto's players are divided into 2 factions. One is the Portuguese gang and the other is the Brazilian gang. Neymar, Su Long, as a dragon countryman, went to Porto, and neither side was human. The most important thing is that Porto frequently changes the head coach, and the head coach himself can't take care of it, and naturally can't take care of Su Long. Don't look at Su Long is worth 10 million. When training does not pass, the ball is not passing. Training when not cooperating. Naturally it is difficult to have the opportunity to play. And the previous 3 managers all needed to rely on the Brazilian help to play for themselves. There are exactly 2 strikers on the Brazilian gang side, and they both try to send 2 Brazilian strikers to the court to please the Brazilian gang so that they can rely on the Brazilian gang to win. And the Portuguese gang also needs people to play. In one ball game, 11 people start, 3 substitutes, and the rest are to be cold-boarded. The ills in Porto's locker room were not initially resolved until 3 years later, when Su Long also began to be reused, but it was too late. This is called teammate isolation. Neymar did not expect that Porto is still enough to faction this set. This is a big pit, cannot go. The first time the Portuguese Premier League team was simulated, it encountered such a situation, and Su Long's first impression was very poor. I feel that this place in Portugal is a bit of a pit. Despise the foreign people. Su Long thought about it, or decided to simulate the small team of the Ligue 1 first, and improve his physical attributes, before speaking. What small teams are there in Ligue 1? Lille has simulated, and Paris Saint-Germain, Marseille, and Auxerre have no simulations, but I want to find a team at the bottom to try, like OE at the end of the Bundesliga crane. So Su Long immediately inquired about the Ligue 1 points for the 2003 to 2004 season. List, find the 17th Bordeaux team. Because the 18th, 19th, 20th are going to be relegated, let's simulate going to Bordeaux. In 2004, at the age of 18, you wanted to join Bordeaux in Ligue 1. But you were unsuccessful and joined Ligue 1 Lyon for a transfer fee of £10 million. In 2005, when you were 19 years old, you gradually played the main position, and at the end of the season, you scored 18 goals and won the Ligue 1 Silver Boots. You scored 5 goals in the Champions League and became a rising star in the world's attention. In 2006, you were 20 years old, a cruciate ligament tear in a league game, and the season was reimbursed. Su Long is silent, and the simulated football career must also respect the facts. The small team has no money. It is impossible to have its own will. It is impossible to succeed in the football career. This time, only the technology has improved a little, and the other attributes have not improved at all. Su Long chose the technical attribute. Your current physical attribute 45, technical attribute 48, spiritual attribute 51. Then simulate Paris Saint-Germain. In 2004, at the age of 18, you joined Ligue 1 side Paris for a transfer fee of £10 million. In 2005, when you were 19 years old, you gradually played the main position, and at the end of the season, you scored 19 goals and won the Ligue 1 Silver Boot. In 2006, at the age of 20, you made 38 appearances in Ligue 1, scoring 18 goals and winning the Ligue 1 Silver Boot. In 2012, you were 26 years old and you were squeezed into the bench. In 2013, when you were 27 years old, you moved to Lille for 8 million, and at Lille you had a second spring, and at the end of the season, you scored 15 goals. In 2016, you were 30 years old, with a torn cruciate ligament in a game, and the season was reimbursed. In 2017, you were 31 years old and you returned to OER for a 300W transfer fee. In 2021, you are 36 years old, the end of the season, you have carefully considered and decided to retire. From then on, your football career is completely over. Physical attributes of 26-year-old, score 47. Technical attributes of 26-year-old, score 49. Mental attributes of 30-year-old, score 53. Life experience of 36 years old. Su Long's eyes lit up. It was another football career that was not injured until he was 30 years old, and it seemed that simulating the Ligue 1 small team was the right way. And he stayed in Paris for 8 years before being pushed into the bench. Select body attributes. Your current physical attribute 47. Technical attribute 47, spiritual attribute 51. It seems that in Paris you can look forward to it for a long time, and if you don't get pushed off the bench in 12 years, then maybe you can stay longer. Su Long thought about it and simulated the Great Paris again. In 2012, when you were 26, you were squeezed into the bench, and at the end of the season, you scored only 3 goals. Su Long was silent. Who squeezed me out? Su Long looked at the 3 attributes that did not increase, and simply chose 36 life experiences. In 2011, the Qatari consortium became the largest shareholder of Greater Paris, and Paris Saint-Germain became the team of Middle Easterners. Since then, the team has become very rich and began to recruit troops. The man who pushed himself on the bench in 2012 was the newly transferred Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Big Ibrahimovic? Oh, then it's all right. Episode 62. League One Famous Houses. Overlord characteristics. Su Long was still thinking about whether he could change his career as a substitute in 2012 after his strength improved. After learning that his competitor is Big Ibrahimovic, forget it. And the simulated Greater Paris has no gains, the line has been blocked. The biggest benefit of this life experience was learning French. Later, Su Long simulated the football careers of Marseille and Auxerre. In 2004, at the age of 18, you joined League One side Marseille for a transfer fee of £10 million. In 2005, when you were 19 years old, you gradually played the main position, and at the end of the season, you scored 19 goals and won the League One Silver Boot. In 2009, you were 23 years old and transferred to Real Madrid for €45 million. In 2010, when you were 24, you were squeezed into the bench, and at the end of the season, you scored only 4 goals. In 2021, you are 35 years old, the season is over, and you have decided to retire after careful consideration. From then on, your football career is completely over. In 2004, at the age of 18, you joined League One side Auxerre for a transfer fee of £10 million. In 2009, you were 23 years old and transferred to Real Madrid for €45 million. In 2021, you are 35 years old, the season is over, and you have decided to retire after careful consideration. Whether it was at Marseille and suitable for Auxerre, it was at the age of 23 that he moved to Real Madrid. Since the 3 attribute points did not rise, Su Long chose to watch the life experience. After watching the life experience, Su Long knew what was going on. 13. Whether it is Marseille or Auxerre, the stars cultivated by such a small team will eventually transfer and sell money. Like OE, it is impossible to keep your own. But what OE is doing now is that all teams are ready to buy out the full £10 million. At the age of 23, the only team that can come up with $45 million to smash is Real Madrid. So these career simulations always have Real Madrid in the transit station. These small teams also do not want Su Long to stay in their own teams. That is, they want to transfer and sell money. This is the League One little black shop. In addition, Su Long through these 2 life experiences, Su Long's experience in the Real Madrid period, let Su Long learn Spanish. This is also a windfall. Now that League One's wool has been stripped away, Su Long has turned his attention to other leagues. Wait a minute. Su Long remembers that he had a simulated football career in the Bundesliga, obtained the achievement of the Bundesliga club, and also obtained the ability to shoot accurately. But the previous 2 times in Paris were a long time, and then the transfer was to Lille, which is also a League One team. Why didn't you get the achievement of League One famous clubs? Su Long looked back again with doubt. The Bundesliga mentioned that he had been in the German league for 15 years. Is it because you haven't been in League One for 15 years? Let's simulate it again. Don't leave the French league so early this time. Even if you go to the lower league, you can go to the French second league and the French second division. Simulation. In 2004, at the age of 18, you joined League One side Paris for a transfer fee of £10 million. In 2005, when you were 19 years old, you gradually played the main position, and at the end of the season, you scored 19 goals and won the League One Silver Boot. In 2013, when you were 27 years old, you transferred to Lille for £8 million, and at Lille you had a second spring, and at the end of the season, you scored 15 goals. In 2016, you were 30 years old, with a torn cruciate ligament in a game, and the season was reimbursed. In 2017, you were 31 years old and you moved to League Two side Brest at 300W. In 2018, at the age of 32, you made 38 appearances in League Two and scored 22 goals to help Brest succeed in the first division. In 2019, you're 33 years old, and you moved to League Two side Paris FC with $2 million. In 2021, when you were 36 years old, you transferred to the French League One team Orleans for free. In 2022, at the end of your 37-year-old season, you have decided to retire after careful consideration. From then on, your football career is completely over. You have been playing in the French League for 16 years, and you are the Dragon Ball player who has played in League One and League Two with the most appearances, and the Dragon player who has scored the most goals in League One and League Two. With a total of 124 goals scored in League One, he is the one who has scored the most goals by a player in the Dragon Kingdom. You managed to be inducted into the League 100 Goals Hall of Fame and are the only Asian player. Choose one of the 4 options below. Physical attributes of 26-year-old, score 48. Technical attributes of 26-year-old, score 47. Mental attributes of 32-year-old, score 51. Life experience of 37 years old. You have successfully entered the League 100 Goals Hall of Fame, achieved several Asian player records in League One, and rewarded with hegemonic characteristics. Overlord characteristics. Players with this trait have a stability level of more than 50% when fighting, and the weaker the defensive player, the more stable the maximum 100%. Choose body attributes. Now body stats 48, technical stats 47, mental stats 51, characteristics, precision shooting, Iron Man, hooded killer, overlord. Now it's time to peel off the wool of League One. At this time, the car stopped. After Mendes got out of the car, he looked at Su Long with a very strange look. Su Long looked puzzled. Mendes, what's wrong? Su, were you in the car just now practicing Dragon Kingdom Kung Fu? Huh? Su Long was dumbfounded. Mendes smiled and said, as I sit next to you, I can feel your body moving from time to time, and it feels like you're practicing martial arts, just like Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is Bruce Lee. Su Long cried and laughed. He added some points to the car, and his body's reaction was actually mistaken for practicing martial arts. No wonder you have a strong body rarely found in Asians. Can I learn this martial art? Su Long shook his head and didn't explain much. Let's go. Where's your office? This side. Mendes led Su Long to an office building and said, this is where our brokerage company is located. Su Long curiously followed Mendes into the office building, looking at the crowd in suits and shoes, looking very serious, similar to Mendes's dress, and he was a little out of place in a casual suit. Su Long and Mendes just came to the elevator, and just as the elevator came down, the elevator door had not yet opened, and the sound of warblers and swallows inside could be heard. It's here. Don't squeeze. Chloe, how come your back looks so good? Ace, don't touch me. The door opened, 7 or 8 girls came out of the elevator, and the brown short-haired girl in the front made a noise and crashed into Su Long next to him. Overlord feature activated. Su Long was stunned for a moment, and then he felt a soft body hit him, and then he bounced away. Can this also activate the Overlord? The brown-haired girl who had crashed into her was bounced off and hit her female companion, and the two fell to the ground. If I am not mistaken, the brown-haired girl was pushed by this female companion just now. The girl's eyes widened in surprise. Originally the back of the essayer made a bad one, pushing a handful of Chloe in front. As a result, after Chloe bumped into the young man in front of him, he was bounced off and sat essayer behind him. The girls pulled both of them up. Essayer supported his waist, glared at Chloe fiercely, and angrily walked away to hurt people instead of himself, and Esser naturally had no face. Chloe snorted and looked back at Su Long and said, thank you. You're welcome. At this time, Su Long noticed that this brown-haired girl was quite beautiful, very tender and moist, white and red, small goose egg face, a special pair of deep pale blue eyes, like a sapphire eye. Chloe looked at Su Long and said, oh, where do I seem to have seen you? Oh, this lady, if you have time, why don't you come up and sit down and talk? Mendes next to him said with a smile. Chloe shook her head and said, no, I still have business. Are you that Su? Su Long was stunned. This little beauty is his own fan? Well, don't get me wrong, I'm a Duisburg fan. You beat our team 7-0, and I remember you. Su Long smiled and said, accident, that was an accident 753. Well, I forgive you, big star. How many phone calls you have? After Su Long and Chloe exchanged phone calls, Chloe said happily, bye-bye, another day. Watching Chloe leave, Su Long was still a little confused. Have you been plucked? Mendes next to him smiled and said, go up, Su. Su Long nodded and followed Mendes into the elevator. In the elevator, Mendes said, these girls are models of a certain agency above. Pay attention when you are dating. Don't get under the age of 16, it is a lot of trouble. The corners of Su Long's mouth twitched. It's just a phone number. Although he said this, his mind was full of Chloe's appearance and the faint aroma of his body. Mendes looked at Su Long and looked as if to say, do you think I'm blind? The elevator opened, and Mendes took Su Long into his office and sat down, taking a glass of water and a pile of information to Su Long. Then he said, Su, the team's information is here, you can read it here, you can go back to the hotel to see the hotel I have prepared for you. Su Long looked at Mendes and said, Mendes, I would like to ask, the ranking of the various leagues behind the 5 major leagues is. Mendes looked at Su Long and said, the strength of the Brazilian First Division, the Dutch First Division, the Argentine First Division, the Russian Super League, and the Turkish Super League is slightly lower than the intensity of the 5 major leagues. Su Long murmured, you said Ajax before, didn't you? Mendes nodded and said, yes, their head coach Koeman agrees too. Lyon and Ajax are very good. You read the information first, understand it first, and then Su Long nodded. But now it is clear that the mind is not on the information. Well, Mendes, I'll go back to the hotel first. Okay, then I won't send it. The hotel is the Hilton across the road. You can apply for the front desk documents. Su Long just entered the hotel and sat down, took out his mobile phone and prepared to send a message to his parents saying that he was in Frankfurt, when a message suddenly popped up. Chloe, where are the big stars? Episode 63. The next stop, the ball king of the small team. In the hotel, Su Long opened his eyes and was greeted by Chloe's smooth white back. Chloe, who was wearing a skirt, looked back at Su Long and said, Su, come and help me. Su Long quickly got up and pulled Chloe on the zipper on the back of her dress. Chloe held Su Long's face and said, I've been in Frankfurt for a few days, it's time to go home. Oh, when are you coming back? Chloe smiled sweetly and said, aren't you going to France to prepare for the Toulon Cup? my dear. I'll go and cheer you on." With that, Chloe kissed Su Long. Su Long picked up Chloe in his entirety. 3 hours later, Chloe rearranged her clothes, glared at Su Long angrily, and walked out of the hotel suite. There was only Su Long left in the hotel, and there was a messy scene. Looking at the time, I had been in Frankfurt for a week. Su Long recalled that he and Chloe had only been together for a week from the time they exchanged phone calls, which was a dream. Don't look at Chloe's childish looks. In fact, when he first met at the age of 18, Su Long thought Chloe was very moist. It's actually really run. Now Chloe is going home, and Su Long has to consider his transfer. Su Long flipped through the team information given by Mendes. Leave aside Real Madrid, Barca, Manchester United and Arsenal. The first is to simulate the rich careers of the Brazilian First Division, the Dutch First Division, the Scottish First Division, the Russian Premier League, and the Turkish Super League, and I want to see if I can achieve a few more life achievements such as the Brazilian First Division, the Dutch First Division, and the Dutch First Division. First of all, he simulated Sao Paulo in the Bundesliga, played for 3 years, or transferred to Real Madrid. Then there was Ajax in the Eredivisie, who also played for 3 years, the absolute main position, and then moved to Real Madrid. The Celtic of the Soviet Super League, the St. Petersburg Zenit of the Russian Super League, Galatasaray of the Turkish Super League, and Fenerbahce also stayed for 3 or 4 years before transferring to Real Madrid. Su Long felt that Real Madrid was squatting on its own. The problem is that Real Madrid is such a team that you spend £40 million 50 million to buy me to sit on the cold bench. You're going too far. Su Long didn't get too much wool on it, that is, he raised his physical attributes and technical attributes to 49. At present, the attributes of Su Long are 49 physical attributes, 49 technical attributes, and 51 spiritual attributes. Su Long felt that he was now stuck at this node. The last team, Besiktas of the Turkish Super League. After 1 minute, Su Long sighed. Or Real Madrid. Real Madrid, you like me so much, can you let me play? Su Long is speechless. Every time he goes to Real Madrid at the age of 23, he always sits on the cold bench for 3 years and 4 years, ruining the best time of footballers, resulting in the inability to grow up in his many football careers. There is no very rich team, a team that does not sell players for a living. Su Long turned the data to the bottom and suddenly stopped. Saudi Premier League? Riyadh Victory? The team profile is only 1 page, and it says that although there is money, it is not worth going. Rich teams, if I play well in it, won't sell me out for money. Su Long decided to simulate it. In 2004, at the age of 18, you joined Saudi Premier League side Riyadh for a transfer fee of £10 million. In 2005, at the age of 19, you played 30 games in the Saudi Premier League, scored 26 goals, won the Golden Boots and helped the team win the Prince's Cup in Saudi Arabia. In 2016, you were 30 years old, with a torn cruciate ligament in a game, and the season was reimbursed. In 2017, at the age of 31, you made 21 appearances in the Saudi Premier League, scoring 7 goals and helping the team win the Prince Cup in Saudi Arabia. In 2021, you are 36 years old, you transfer to Bundesliga team OE for free. In 2022, at the end of your 37-year-old season, you have decided to retire after careful consideration. From then on, your football career is completely over. You have played in the Saudi Premier League for 16 years, the most dragon player in the Saudi Premier League, and the player who has scored the most goals in the Saudi Premier League. He scored 239 goals in the Saudi Premier League, the most goals in the Saudi Premier League. You have successfully entered the Saudi Premier League Hall of Fame and are the only Dragon Country player. Choose one of the 4 options below. Physical attributes of 26-year-old, score 49. Technical attributes of 26-year-old, score 49. Mental attributes of 32-year-old, score 51. Life experience of 37 years old. As a result of your successful entry into the Saudi Premier League Hall of Fame, you have achieved several records in the Saudi Premier League and are awarded with the Money Warrior trait. Money Warrior feature. Players with this trait will refresh the Speed Quest once a month, meet the spending conditions, and will get a temporary random feature in the next game. May 2004 mission, €1 million per purchase by June 1st. Su Long showed a look of joy. Saudi Arabia is really rich. I can actually retire in Saudi Arabia? I'm drunk. A mission costs €1 million and then only gets 1 temporary feature to maintain 1 game? This money warrior, Su Long sensed the malice of money. But this bonus is really fierce. To add a feature is to improve a big notch. Even if it is only a month, it can only add up to 1 game, which is a very huge bonus. But the price is to spend money. Su Long suddenly thought, our Dragon Kingdom League seems to be richer than the Saudi League, so can we go to the Dragon Country League? Su Long thought of it and did it. Therefore, Su Long chose to join the Dragon Country League this time, but found that there was no team in the Dragon Country to take himself. Those Dragon Nations teams are not willing to pay £10 million for a young Dragon Country player. they prefer foreign aid. In the end, in this football career, Toulon still joined Manchester United. Toulon was surprised to find that he had been seriously injured at Manchester United for 3 years. It seems that the physical attributes of 49 are still somewhat useful, but he has not been injured in Manchester United for 3 years, scoring only 10 goals every year, which is unacceptable to Toulon. The big team is still not for me now. Let's pick the small teams of the 5 major leagues. Toulon glanced at his current achievement points, and there were 4,000 plus. Now these 4,000 achievement points can be simulated 40 times. In case after changing teams, the system improves the achievement points needed for the simulation, it is too wasteful. Keep 1,000 achievement points for backup, and the remaining 3,000 achievement points to simulate 30 times. Simulate all the small teams in the 5 leagues that interest me and see which team can get the best treatment in the first 2 seasons. After 30 simulations, Toulon's stats are increased to body attributes 59, technique 59, and rating 59. Toulon estimated that the attributes of 359s were also the limits of his simulated football career in the 5 major league small teams. Toulon wrote on the paper that he could go to the team. Ligue 1, Monaco, Lille, Marseille, Auxerre, La Liga, Real Betis, Espanyol. Soon, Toulon handed over the list of teams he wanted to Mendes. Mendes took one look at it and sighed. It seems that you are determined to be the king of the small team, but you have not replied for so long. Manchester United and Arsenal have basically given up. Especially Ferguson, he was very unhappy with your behavior dragging him like this. Toulon shook his head and said, then I can't help it. I can only say that Manchester United and I have no luck. Any requirements? Toulon thought about it and said, the first is of course the playing time and the core position. I hope that every game can be played, and I can have the support of the head coach. As for the weekly salary, I hope to get a salary contract that matches the transfer fee of 10 million. Mendes nodded and said, well, no problem, I'll help you talk about it first. Ronaldo's contract is £25,000 per week, an increase of 25% per year, but the average salary capital of Manchester United's first team is £25,000. And Ronaldo's £25,000 is acceptable. And at that time, Manchester United was in a special situation. There was a shortage of people on the side, so see Ronaldo just caught up with this time and gave a main salary. Generally, when new recruits enter the team, it is impossible to have a standard salary for the main force. I'll try to help you talk about £2.5W, but not necessarily. Like Ligue 1, Lille's average salary line is €6,000 per week. I think it's very hanging. You think, it's unlikely that a new person of yours will be paid several times more than the old captain. When Toulon heard Mendes's words, he was immediately depressed. In his football career, his development in Lille has been good. In reality, it was beaten by salary. Now Toulon finally knows why the king of the small team is not liked to be a player, and he always likes to go to the giants. It turned out to be because the rich paid a lot of wages. Well, Toulon thinks that he is also a layman. Find a straight bar that gives the most money. Well, you can ask first. Mendes nodded and said, okay. Toulon thought to himself, how to say that he also has the characteristics of a money warrior, how to do it without money. Wait for a year or 2 in the small team, and then go to Real Madrid, Manchester United. Although Toulon planned it like this, people are not as good as heaven. He didn't expect the next stop, a team that wasn't originally in his plan. Episode 64. Monaco's physical examination, the core position of the national youth team. 3 days later, Mendes found Toulon. Let me tell you about the situation. Lille, Marseille, Auxerre, Real Betis, Espanyol, these 5 teams are not up to what you want. Lille and Marseille can only give a weekly salary of €15,000, an increase of 20% per year, and a signing fee of €1 million. Auxerre can give a weekly salary of €18,000, an increase of 20% per year, and a signing fee of €1 million. Royal Betis can only give a weekly salary of €15,000, an increase of 20% per year, but can give a signing fee of €1.2 million, but they ask for 12 months of installments. Spaniards and Royal Betis are similar, but by 25% per year. The one who is most willing to give money is Monaco, which can give a weekly salary of €20,000, which is equivalent to £16,800, which is almost the same as your request, and it is an increase of 25% per year. The signing fee is €1.2 million, which is also the highest. Toulon sighed and simulated the side of Monaco in his mind. This football career simulation, sure there is no problem, in the first 3 years are the main position. The first year can also score 15 goals, but also in the Champions League 7 teams, the third year to Real Madrid. So Toulon said, well, there is no better choice, just Mona. Mendes nodded and said, yes, no problem, I will contact them now and agree to go to Monaco tomorrow for a medical examination. The signing of the contract is not something that can be done in one day, and I will follow up the whole process. With such a schedule, you can go directly from Monaco to Toulon the day after tomorrow to participate in the competition, which is not far away. Your performance in the Toulon Cup is better. I can also give you more price increases. and I will tell you about anything at the first time. Su Long nodded. That's no problem. How about 4 or 5 balls per game? Mendes didn't take it seriously, smiled and said, okay. The next day, Su Long and Mendes flew directly to Monaco. Monaco is a southern European 290 city-state located in southwestern Europe, surrounded by France on 3 sides, and bordering the Mediterranean Sea to the south. It is actually a city-sized principality, located on the south coast of France. Su Long and Mendes arrived at the door of the Monaco team training base, and there were already people waiting. Seeing Su Long and Mendes coming, he immediately greeted them. Hello, I'm Monaco's manager, Nance, and I'm welcome to Monaco. Nance said it was the off-season, so the head coach was not there, but Mr. Head Coach welcomed Su Long very much. Then, Nance took Su Long to see the Monaco team director, and the team doctor accompanied Su Long to the medical examination. This can also be seen in their importance. Su Long thought in his heart, the transfer of £10 million, how to do it without paying attention to a point. There are 6 main items of physical examination. The first physical examination is a cardiac examination and a physical fitness test. The team doctor looked at Su Long's heart test, electrocardiogram, echo monitoring, and heart health history questionnaire, nodded and said, very healthy. Blood and routine tests are then performed, and urine tests are used to determine whether the player has symptoms such as diabetes. The result was that everything was fine. The second physical examination is to test muscles and bones. Since Dragon Country players are known to be known internationally, the team doctor carefully examined Su Long's body and made a bone age certificate. 18 years old bone age, no problem. Then let Su Long crouch, jump and do lunges etc. to check. Waist, back and hips, excellent. The third physical examination is to focus on the player's muscles and athletic ability to determine whether the player has any potential injuries, mainly the flexibility test of the knee. A torn cruciate ligament in the knee is the most common serious injury for football players. Su Long was very impressed and met him in almost every football career. The fourth physical examination is magnetic resonance and ultrasound. The fifth physical examination is a body fat test. The team doctor couldn't help but exclaim, 8% body fat rate, you are only 18 years old, too good. The supervisor next to him also laughed. At least from the physical examination, they did not choose the wrong person. The final physical examination is the sprint run and the return run. Su Long ran a lap, and the team doctor who tested it looked at the stopwatch in his hand and his eyes widened. 2.2 seconds? This is a 20-meter sprint physical examination, and the 2.2 seconds is also one of the best in Manchester United. The main thing is that the young man in front of him is only 18 years old and has not yet fully developed. You can still grow. The team doctor was a little incredulous, so he said, here it is once. Su Long tried 3 times, and the more the team doctor looked, the more surprised he became, because Su Long's performance has improved again. 2:15 p.m. The supervisor saw the team doctor's look, asked Su Long and Mendes to rest first, and then secretly asked the team doctor alone, is there something wrong with Su? The team doctor shook his head and said, no, he's too good. After listening to the team doctor, the supervisor immediately smiled and said, this is good. Su originally has a huge commercial value in the Dragon Kingdom. If he can have excellent physical and ability, it will be better. We will rely on him this season. Very open, the supervisor came out and said to Su Long, congratulations, Su, your medical examination has passed. Then he looked at Mendes and said, then let's get into the agreement of the contract. 1 day is not enough time for the contract to be fully settled, so Su Long went to Toulon first to participate in the pre-match training of the Toulon Cup. On May 28, Su Long came to the training ground and found the large unit of the national youth team. The national youth team rented a small stadium in the city of Toulon as a training ground. Team leader Li Xiao brought Su Long to the stadium and introduced to head coaching Tai and the players. This is Su Long, who came directly from Germany. Tai looked at Su Long's posture and muscles, and suddenly felt different from the domestic players. And the teammates also looked at Su Long curiously. The core scorer of the Bundesliga promotion horse, 40 goals in a single season. In the Dragon Country Forum, the football circle is going to be hot, and the teammates have heard about it. There are even quite a few people chasing the OER team's game report. Su Long smiled at everyone and said, hello everyone. The leader Li Xiao is a relationship who leads the team to earn gold and earn qualifications, does not understand football, thinking that everyone is 18 and 19 years old, how big the difference can be, so he proposed to let Su Long go to the bench team, playing the starting team against the bench team training match. Tai also wanted to see Su Long's strength, so he nodded and said, Su Long, you go and warm up. Su Long heard the proposal of the team leader and the head coach, smiled and said, good, this scene is all too familiar. When he went to OE a year ago, he was also playing the starting team on the bench. Now it seems that the teammates of the national youth team are even inferior to the second team of OE. There were number 2 minutes after the start of the training session and everyone was dumbfounded. The game had to be stopped. Su Long's first long-range shot directly hit the chest of the number 5 defender, directly knocking the number 5 defender almost unconscious. and fell to the ground for a long time without getting up. After a while, the number 5 defender was replaced. Then, over the next 10 minutes, Su Long scored 3 goals. The training session is over. Head coaching Tai looked at Su Long's eyes and shone brightly. A presence like Su Long can't win with any kick in the Toulon Cup. Too powerful personal ability. Even in the Chinese Super League, no Dragon Kingdom striker has such a shooting skill as Su Long. This is the future of the Dragon Kingdom. After the first day of training, Su Long remembered when he was resting. Why didn't he see Xiaodong in the team? Xiaodong is about the same age as him, and his age should not exceed the limit of the Toulon Cup. Su Long made a phone call to Su Gao, and only then did he know that after Xiaodong returned to China, he was not able to come over to participate in the competition because of visa problems. In this way, I am lucky not to return to China. And if I return to China, there may be visa problems as well. I was thinking of cooperating with Xiaodong, but it's a pity. In just 3 days of training, Su Long has established his position in the team. As the only player in the team to stay in the West, Su Long naturally did not have the mass base to be the locker room boss, and Su Long did not want to be a foreigner. He just wants the manager and his teammates to stop doing things, just do it as a job and do it seriously. On the evening of May 31st, team leader Li Xiao and head coaching Tai agreed on a big list to play tomorrow. Li Xiao said, Su Long has only been training for 2 days, and the cooperation with his teammates is not so good. I think it is already very preferential for him to arrange him into the substitute lineup. Yin Tai frowned. He hated some people in the country and always made football not like football. He couldn't help but say, Leader Li, I tell the truth, if Su Long is arranged to start, we have a great chance of winning the championship this time. As a young scorer who can score 40 goals in a single season on his own, if you put him on the bench, it is easy to cause a lot of people to be dissatisfied. When the game is won, it is better to say, if you lose, you guarantee that he will not say that we arranged it? Li Xiao said in a deep voice, does he dare? Yin Tai shook his head and said, he dares to buy out his contract to play abroad, what dare not, and his transfer fee has reached £10 million. Li Xiao was stunned for a moment and said, what? £10 million transfer fee? Yin Tai saw that Li Xiao did not understand, and scolded in his heart, which high-level son is this, and the horse does not understand anything and wants to come to the guild. He scolded in his heart, but there was no emotion on his face. Yes, whether he is abroad or domestic, he is still concerned by many fans. Li Xiao looked at Yin Tai and said, but if you arrange him to start the lineup, you will inevitably have to replace a person on the bench. Can you be responsible for this? Yin Tai smiled and said, well, I'll be in charge. Then replace Wanting. Well, when the top brass asks, I can only say that it is your personal arrangement. Yin Tai nodded. Big deal after playing this Toulon Cup, I will not do it. June 1, 2004. Stade de Maire in Toulon, France. 2004 32nd Toulon Cup group stage group of first match. Dragon National Youth Team versus Colombian National Youth Team. Su Long did not expect to enter the starting lineup, and he was specially arranged by head coaching Tai as the core of the attack. Originally, according to Su Long's strength, it should be like this, but Dragon football is not just about strength. Therefore, this arrangement is very surprising to everyone. Episode 65. Ferguson's concessions, the backstabbing next door. Before the start of the game, Yin Tai repeatedly told him, just like when training, when the ball is played in front, always pay attention to Su Long. Don't be distracted. Pass the ball into the box, understand? Whoever can't fight well, I'll replace whoever is sober and sober, understand? Yin Tai's arrangement made many people in the national youth team wonder in their hearts what relationship Su Long had. Many people are originally a little related, and naturally they have already treated people. In fact, Su Long didn't matter. It is entirely by virtue of his own strength that he has won the appreciation of Yin Tai. The players on both sides assembled in the player aisle and looked at each other curiously. Gao Junwen next to Su Long said, Brother Long, it turns out that Colombian players are also black-haired. Well, I don't understand. Su Long glanced at it, and there was no one he knew. However, the players on the Colombian side, who were playing in the Bundesliga, recognized Su Long. Watch out for the 9th of the year. Well, I recognize it too. It's Su. If you can't do it, just foul him fiercely. These Colombian players are all spoken in Spanish, which is the most important language in Colombia, and they think that Su Long can't understand it. The result was clearly heard by Su Long. Su Long pretended not to understand and continued to test the enemy situation. I didn't expect linguistics is more, the role is great. In just 10 minutes or so of the players' tunnel, Su Long was able to distinguish Colombian players, who were playing in the Bundesliga, and recognized themselves. There are also people who play football in Colombia and feel that their teammates are exaggerated and do not take Su Long seriously. For these people, Su Long also wrote it down, and after the meeting, he made a fuss about these people. This is what makes it impossible to attack. Su Long had just stepped out of the stadium when he heard a pleasant and familiar voice. Su, come on. Su Long looked in the direction where the sound appeared, and on the right side of the stand, a Chanli figure was waving. It was Chloe, whom he hadn't seen in a week. I also came with 2 girlfriends. The teammates of the national youth team all looked at Su Long with envy and hatred, and it was not the dragon people who shouted cheers, but the three brown-haired sisters, and they were very beautiful. Brother Dragon, damn charm. Everyone was a 17 or 18-year-old teenager, and Chloe's appearance instantly made them admire Su Long in their hearts. Su Long waved his hand and focused all his attention on the court. The game started with Colombia's side serving. The 10 minutes passed quickly, both sides were fighting in midfield, and basically there were not many chances that appeared. Su Long's performance in the past 10 minutes has also made the two defenders who were originally very careful relax slightly, and the center back, who did not put Su Long in his eyes, smiled and said, "See no, the defense of our three people is airtight." Before he could finish speaking, Su Long had already received the pass. Without the response of the defensive striker like in Oyer, Su Long's style of play would have changed. Pull back slightly to catch the ball. The moment Su Long received the ball, he had his back to the Colombian goal, and in the 1 second before receiving the ball, he had turned around and saw everything behind him. A beautiful turn, passing the first defender. The fast pace instantly carried the ball into the box. Rub. It was one of the Colombian defenders who had previously said they should be wary of Su Long. He scolded angrily, and before he could react, he was overtaken. At this time, Su Long's right side was the center back who did not put him in his eyes, and suddenly pounced. He was going to make a tactical foul before Su Long rushed into the penalty area. The figure was the strongest young player in the Colombian team, and he slammed into Su Long. Bang! Everyone on the court watched as the two bodies collided together. The Dragon Kingdom players are furious. The Colombian players were relieved. The next second, everyone was stunned. Overlord feature activation, only to see that Su Long was bumped, just stumbled a little, but with the help of the power of the collision, he stepped into the forbidden area. Precision shooting feature activated. Su Long shot at the goalkeeper who pounced on him, and the ball hit the far corner and all the players were dumbfounded. The indestructibility that Su Long showed in an instant shocked them, and then the Dragon Country players cheered and rushed towards Su Long. The coach is right, just give the ball to Brother Long. Li Xiao and Yin Tai on the sidelines also raised their arms and shouted. Yin Tai smiled and smiled, he did not choose the wrong person. Su Long's performance on the Toulon Cup should be able to be seen by some high-level people. Chloe, who was watching the game from the sidelines, and her two girlfriends cheered. The two girlfriends looked at Chloe and said, "Chloe, your boyfriend is so handsome." Chloe smiled and said, "Of course. He is the top scorer in Bundesliga." The Colombian goalkeeper roared, "Yepes, what are you doing?" The central defender Yepes, who just wanted to foul Su Long outside the penalty area, has numbed Yepes to the team of the AC Milan youth team and has been in Milan youth this year. The team has participated in the official competition, is the absolute main force of the team, and it is likely to enter AC Milan next season, or go out on loan. Did his own savage charge fail? Did you fall down on your own? Only then did Yepes feel that something was wrong. Colombia reserved the ball, and with a bit of confusion, they were very cautious and conducted each other in midfield. The Dragon Nation team seemed to have turned on the switch. In the 29th minute, striker Chen Tao broke the ball, the Longwood team flew with both wings, and Chen Tao crossed into the penalty area. Su Long did not wait for the ball to land and volleyed a kick. Bang! Entered. 2-0. Chen Tao immediately rushed up and hugged Su Long. "Brother Dragon, you cow beef." Su Long stroked Chen Tao's hair, or more than Tao's cross. "Perfect." The two praised each other commercially, and their teammates surrounded each other. The spectators on the sidelines are sparse, and the real audience is very small, more scouts from various big teams, to dig up buried young players. However, Su Long was soon recognized. This is Su, the first day of the Dragon Kingdom. It's not too much to be in Asia's first day, or even the world's top 5. His performance in the Bundesliga was amazing. I heard he turned down recruitment from Manchester United and Arsenal. Don't know which team he's going to? I got the word that he's going to Monaco. Monaco in League One? What else is there besides money? If it is really to go to Monaco, short-sightedness and greed will hurt him. Only in the top league can he grow. League One is pension. Leave him alone. After that, the Colombian team's defense of Su Long was more and more fierce. However, being too young and inexperienced, coupled with the blessing of Su Long's Iron Man characteristics plus the characteristics of the Overlord body, was of little use. Instead, it allowed Su Long to fall in the Colombian penalty area and get a penalty. This time, the relationship in the team originally had the idea to make a free throw, but seeing Su Long take the initiative to walk on the penalty point, he also cancelled this idea. Now Su Long is the leader of this national youth team. On the sidelines, Li Xiao frowned and said, "Should the penalty be given to his teammates? Isn't that more united? Yin Tai Heart MMP, unite your MPI, want to do things all day." He is the core of the team, although he is not the captain, he is better than the captain, and this penalty is won by him. Let him play is also a matter of course, which is also an affirmation and encouragement for him. Li Xiao glanced at Yin Tai. Before and after going abroad this time, he went back to write a report to his superiors. If you don't cooperate with the head coach of the Football Federation, can you still ask for it? What ball is played to a player who has nothing to do with the Football Association, and it is still worth it? At this time, there was a cheer on the court. Su Long's penalty was scored. Hat-trick, cap killer feature activated. Su Long immediately felt that his whole body was full of strength. Body attribute plus 10 is no joke. In the 46th minute, the first half of the stoppage time, Su Long once again played with the entire Colombian backline with one-man strength, and after being surrounded by 5 people, successfully passed the ball into the box. Chintao calmly shot straight into the goal and scored the 4th goal of this game. It's in, 4-0. The first time Chintao scored a goal, he rushed to Su Long to celebrate. The Dragon Country players were ecstatic and rushed towards Chintao and Su Long. The morale of the Colombian players has been hit to the ground. On the bench on the sidelines, the Colombian coach squatted on the ground with his head covered. All the scouts were stunned. Su Long's play is also too stable. In the Bundesliga to kill, come to the Toulon Cup or kill. This lethality seems to be stronger than Rooney, who is known as the pride of Britain's first day. In United's conference hall, Ferguson and his coaching staff are watching the Toulon Cup live on television. Ferguson looked at the forward coach and Manchester United star McClare said, "Brian, what do you think?" McClare sighed and said, "His shooting skills are very mature. Unlike 18-year-olds, in terms of shooting skills, Bruni is more skilled. Looking at his body is also very tough, which really changes my view of Asians." And from the Bundesliga to the Toulon Cup, the play was very stable and efficient. Always be able to do a hat-trick at halftime, it's a genius. Ferguson looked at the others. This kid can sign. Must sign. Others also said that Su Long was excellent. Ferguson nodded and said, he had been asking for playing time before. I didn't promise him, and now it seems that it is not okay not to say no. Well, I'm also looking forward to his forward combination with Wayne Rooney. Ferguson picked up the phone and called the executive director, Peter Kenyon. While United have the financial resources to outweigh all offers, the final step is left to executive director Peter Kenyon. What Ferguson didn't expect, however, was that the head coach next door, Kevin Keegan, was also on the phone. 2. Episode 66. Manchester City. Dragon Kingdom Sun, Manchester City manager's office. Head coach Kevin Keegan said into the phone, Jorge, Wanchop has confirmed to go to Malaga for a transfer fee of £500, and we at Manchester City have enough money to pay Sue's transfer fee. And the salary side, our side can also match. Most importantly, no one in the Big 5 leagues uses Dragon players more than I do. The Dragon Sun is in our Manchester City, you know it. At Manchester City, I'll give Sue the most tactical approach to attack. I've been following Sue. He has a defensive striker as a receiver. At Manchester City, the whole team is taking care of him. He's the heart of the attack. Mendez's voice came from the other end of the phone. Okay, immediately after the game, I'll talk to Sue and give me time, Mr. Kevin. Back at the Toulon Cup, Su Long did not know that his performance on the Toulon Cup once again aroused the interest of various giants. In the 60th minute, Su Long was once again shoveled down the outside of the penalty area and was given a free kick. Li Xiao frowned, looked at Yin Tai and said, haven't you changed yet? Yin Tai shook his head and said, wait a minute. Li Xiao was very dissatisfied in his heart, originally agreed to change Su Long for about 50 minutes. And the result was now 60 minutes. No substitutions yet. Wan Tung, who is still sitting on the bench, is Luaning's most optimistic young player. If you don't play yet, when Luaning is dissatisfied, your superiors will investigate it, and your face will not look good. Hurry up, Su Long has already scored 3 goals. Yin Tai said in a deep voice, wait a minute. While the two were talking, Su Long's free kick, assisted by Mao Jianqing's header, hit the goal. 5-0. Today is destined to be a carnival for Dragon Country fans. In the 66th minute, an opportunity to play outside the boundary, Su Long finally replaced Wan Teng and Su Long, who were replaced on the field, high-fived, and his heart was full of flame ambition. Brother Dragon can be hat-tricked. How can I score a goal? However, at the end of the 90 minutes, Dragon Kingdom did not score again. Colombia scored a comforting goal before the end and barely saved a little face. 5-1. Su Long's hat-trick plus 2 assists. All goals are directly or indirectly related to Su Long. Dragon Country fans are instantly superb. After the game, Su Long did not go to find his girlfriend, because the national youth team was a bit strict about this. After Chloe finished talking to Su Long on the phone, he said to the 2 girlfriends, he can't come out, the Dragon Country youth team is very strict management, next time. The girlfriend said regretfully, then let's go shopping, and the bar will be up tonight. Chloe shook her head and said, the bar is gone, I'm not going to the bar. Disappointment. Chloe, you are not yet married, you are going to be a good wife and mother. If there is, the bar is not interesting. Okay, then let's go shopping. Su Long had just returned to the hotel, ready to pack up his things and go to the destination of the next game, Hires, France, and Mendez's phone came. Su Long had thought that Monaco had done it well, but he did not expect a new situation. It's like Sue, now there's a City team that is eager to get you. Both Manchester teams, Manchester United and Manchester City, are fighting for you and are sincere. Mendez explained the situation to Su Long. The condition given by Manchester United is to agree to Su Long's 30 court requirements, with a weekly salary of £25,000, which is almost exactly the same as C. Ronaldo's contract a year ago, And the playing requirements are not even available to see Ronaldo and even the players of the whole team, only Su Long has. The conditions given by Manchester City are to match all the offers, ensure the core position of the attack, and guarantee the requirements of 38 games. Both are transfers that the manager personally invited. Su Long immediately simulated the football careers of Manchester United and Manchester City. United are still in their third year injured and have scored just 10 goals in the first 2 seasons. Su Long was not interested. Then there's the Sims at Manchester City. In 2004, you joined Premier League side Manchester City for a transfer fee of £10 million. In 2005, when you were 19, you got the weight of the manager, and at the end of the season, you scored 13 goals. In 2006, when you were 20, you got the weight of the new manager, and at the end of the season, you scored 14 goals. In 2007, at the age of 21, you played as a team captain for the first time, and at the end of the season, you scored 15 goals. In 2008, you were 22 years old, and at the end of the season, you scored 18 goals and moved to Dry Horse. Physical attributes of 21-year-old, score 61. Technical attributes of 21-year-old, score 62. Mental attributes of 21-year-old, score 63. Life experience of 35 years old. Su Long's eyes lit up, and he was surprised to find that Manchester City was not bad. Manchester City can. 3 attribute points can also be boosted. Su Long asked, Mr. Mendes, which team do you think is better? Mendes smiled on the other end of the phone and said, Su, according to your personal wishes and plans, I think it is better for you to go to Manchester City. Su Long's eyes lit up and he said, why? First of all, the managers of both teams have said to give you enough playing time. But Manchester City's manager Kevin Keegan has said that you go to Manchester City and you are the absolute core of the attack. His words are also convincing. Manchester City's main striker Won Jup has already confirmed the transfer. With Manchester City's current finances, if you're willing to pay £10 million, it's basically okay to determine your position. And Manchester City have a dragon son, you know, Dragon Kingdom son, brother son? Su Long suddenly felt that going to Manchester City was a big deal. Well, I know, brother Sunday Manchester City sounds good, but why don't you recommend Manchester United now? Mendes groaned and said, oh, Su, I told you. But what you hear next, you don't tell anyone else, you have to give me a guarantee, it's about my professional credibility. You Dragon Nation people swear, a promise of thousands of dollars, right? Su Long couldn't cry and laugh, Mendes even knew 1,000 gold. Okay, I promise not to tell anyone. What the hell is it, so mysterious? Mendes said, there is no mystery, just the transfer that is being operated. If you leak it here, it is not good for you personally. The team and the manager will feel that you are an unreliable person, you can't control your mouth, thus affecting your career. Manchester United invited Everton's Wayne Rooney to join for a £25 million transfer fee, which is already a foregone conclusion. Rooney, you know? The English talented striker of the same age as you, if he joins Manchester United, for example, will compete with you for the central position. And there are other strikers in Manchester United, the competition is too great. Su Long thought to himself that it was no wonder that he had scored so few goals in his first year at Manchester United. Lu Xiaochu, you will not think in the future that as a striker, your biggest competitor and partner is actually C. Ronaldo who plays on the side. Mendes went on to say, but Manchester City is different, they bet alone, then it is up to you, there is no better alternative. And if you go to Manchester City, your salary is estimated to be 30,000. Higher than Cristiano Ronaldo a year ago. Well, Su, you mean? Su Long nodded and said, okay, then talk to Manchester City. After hanging up the phone, Su Long looked at the 800+ points left and directly simulated Manchester City. The physical attribute is not increased after 65. Finally, the properties of Su Long are physical attribute 65, technical attribute 65, and spiritual attribute 65. Achievement points are only double digits, which is not enough to simulate again. 2 days later, Shuren played in the second match of the Toulon Cup group stage with the team at Hyères, against France. Su Long scored twice in the half, assisted a goal, and took a break in the 60th minute. Then while sitting on the bench, I saw the young and astringent Buns Thanos. Well, at this time, Benzema was still a pony, completely without the style of the later Thanos. It took 70 minutes to play and didn't play too well. But after the game, Su Long still couldn't help but exchange jerseys with Benzema and encouraged Benzema to say, the future is yours, pony. Benzema was stunned. He had long heard that the Dragon Kingdom had a T-Rex level player Su, who was invincible in the Bundesliga and hat-tricked Colombia in the first match of the Toulon Cup. I didn't expect Tyrannosaurus Rex to be so optimistic about herself. Benzema's heart was suddenly full of excitement, feeling that he had met the confidant of life, and immediately exchanged phone calls with Su Long. After Su Long returned to the locker room with Benzema's jersey, Chen Tao and the others were curious. Brother Long, is that white man very powerful? Su Long smiled and said, he will be very powerful in the future. On June 5, 2004, in the final match of the group stage of the Toulon Cup, Su 2.0 Dragon still played steadily, and Mekhi once again helped the Dragon Country team to win the match 4-1. The Turkish goalkeeper was directly beaten to tears. The group stage won the record and qualified for the first place. Toulon topped the Toulon Cup of goal scorers with 7 goals and topped the Toulon Cup of assists with 5 assists. Dragon Country fans are going to be excited. On the major football forums, the netizens who discuss the Toulon Cup are the most. This time, the Toulon Cup may be making history. Toulon is also very likely to become the first double #1 in the assists list in the history of the Toulon Cup. Due to the excellent performance of the group stage, the team leader gave the players a day off. Chen Tao, Gao Junwen and these little brothers all asked Toulon where he went. As a result, the brown-haired sister who saw these games came to support Toulon and came to the hotel door to wait for Toulon. The two left together, and their hearts were broken. The goddess was thus soaked. Brother Dragon or Brother Dragon, YYDS. Now Toulon's prestige in this national youth team has nothing to say. They are all young people. There are not so many city governments. Everything speaks with strength. On this day of the holiday, Toulon and Chloe played all day. Tired Chloe blushed. Episode 67. The Toulon Cup wins. Manchester City visitors. Toulon's performance in the Toulon Cup naturally attracted the attention of the Football Association. It is mainly the top boss of the Football Association who pays attention to Toulon, resulting in the highest boss of the Football Association having to pay attention to Toulon. The Football Association also held a small meeting for this. The top boss of the Football Association once again asked everyone's opinion, not about Toulon's arrangement in the national youth team, but about whether Toulon could be directly transferred to the national team and prepare to participate in the next World Cup qualifiers in August. The boss at the top of the Football Association looked at the crowd and said, "What do you think of Toulon?" The Football Association is not stupid, and these days, they can see it. The boss had the heart to help Toulon, and he couldn't do it himself. Anyway, how well we play is the head coach's pot, and it has nothing to do with our FA management. After this mini-meeting, the FA Secretariat made a good job of the agenda. Immediately after the end of the Toulon Cup, Toulon was summoned to join the national team. On June 8, 2004, in the semi-finals of the Toulon Cup, Toulon played 90 minutes. Toulon scored a killer goal in stoppage time 90 minutes later, another hat-trick, led the Dragon Kingdom to a 3-2 victory over Sweden and advanced to the Toulon Cup finals. This game did not have a live broadcast of CCTV, but the live battle report was posted on the Tianya forum with hundreds of replies. This is a French student who posted it while watching the live video. At the same time, some people sent photos of Toulon and Chloe dating and shopping on the street 2 days ago to the Dragon Country. Then it was on fire again. Netizens have left messages. The ball is not very good, the woman is a game. Staying in the ocean is to go to the club. What hope does Dragon Kingdom football have? Or Dragon Country football players are great. Playing football abroad has not forgotten to find a girlfriend. Great. I haven't kicked out the results yet, but my girlfriend has talked about it, and Toulon is gone. It's better to have a foreign girlfriend than a woman marrying a foreigner. The shot is really accurate, creating a new force for the next generation of youth teams. Stay in the foreign country and soak up foreign sisters, and win glory for the country. This building is gradually crooked, but it is getting hotter and hotter, and Toulon, who has just been on fire even hotter than the Toulon Cup competition, is even more popular because his girlfriend is even hotter. The game was just over when Mama Sue's phone came. Toulon answered the phone and immediately heard his mother's questioning. What is that girl's name, and what country is it? How big? Orthodox? Toulon was also crying and laughing. How did his mother know? Mama Sue snorted and said, "How do you care? How do I know? Our family does not welcome people who are not in a good mood." Toulon rolled his eyes and said, "What's not to like? You can't think of such old thoughts, Mom." In order not to let his mother misunderstand, Toulon had to explain one by one. Her name is Chloe, German, 18 years old like me, a college student. Well, she's a fan of a team called Duisburg, and to be precise, her family has been a Duisburg fan since her grandfather. And then didn't I hit a 7-0 that day? Then she remembered me, happened to meet me in Frankfurt, and got to know me. Mama Sue smiled and said, "So, it looks like a good girl too. When will I take it home?" Although Sue's mother does not want her son to find a foreign wife, from the picture, Chloe's appearance is too good looking, and Sue's mother is also very fond of Chloe. Toulon was speechless. None of these 10 strokes are skimmed. After you finish playing, invite her to play in the Dragon Kingdom. The dad next to him said, "Okay, young people fall in love. What do you do?" Then Dad grabbed the microphone, and Toulon escaped the disaster. Dad asked about Toulon's transfer, and Toulon said, "Oh, the team's words, we have to wait until we are really sure. So for the time being, it may all stay in Europe." Dad nodded and said, "Well, pay attention to safety outside, and call home if you have anything." Got it. After hanging up the phone, Toulon was thinking of making a call to Mendes, and Mendes called. "Sue, first of all, let me tell you the bad news. Mr. Ferguson is not happy, and you have rejected him again. If you join Manchester City, you're going to be tough in the Manchester Derby." Toulon smiled and said, "It's okay, I'm ready. Good news." Manchester City basically negotiated £10 million transfer fee. They first pay £8 million, then £2 million to calculate interest, according to 24 months, £100,000 a month to pay OE. OE side also agreed. And your salary is £25,000 a week at a basic week, which increases by 25% per year. A goal costs £2,500 and an assist costs £1,000. At the end of the season, if you score more than 11 goals, the reward is £520,000, an increase of 25% per year. Toulon nodded and said, yes, but this goal reward, can you change it? 11 balls is too little. Let's calculate it with a gradient. 11 balls, 300,000, 20 balls, 800,000, 30 balls, £2 million. How about it? Mendes groaned and said, Sue, are you so confident? Of course. Well, I'll talk to Manchester City again. In 2004, at 8 p.m. French time on June 10, the final opponent of the Toulon Cup was the French team that scored 3 goals by the Dragon Kingdom in the group stage. France qualified alongside Dragon Country, beating Brazil 3-1 in the semi-finals, before meeting Dragon Country again in the finals. For the defeated players in the group stage, the young players of the Dragon national team have a great psychological advantage. The players on the French side are frowning. Toulon put too much pressure on them in the last game. Before this game, they trained for 2 whole days, that is, to strangle Toulon and not to give him any more free play. After playing, Toulon found himself being closely defended by 2 or even 3 or 4 people on the other side. It seems that the last game turned France into a bird of prey, but was it useful? In the 5th minute, Toulon received the ball on the outside of the penalty area, shifted from the right side to the middle, and immediately attracted 5 defenders to come and surround him. As a result, Toulon passed obliquely, and Chen Tao on the left side of the wind thundered and ran fast, catching the ball at the edge of the penalty area, forming a single knife. The players of the French team broke into a cold sweat. Defending Toulon here with heavy troops, naturally others will leak. But the French team did not expect to come so fast. Chen Tao's powerful shot in the penalty area gave Longueuil lead. 5 minutes lead. Toulon smiled and clapped Chen Tao. Tao Zi can score 5 best goals with this ball. Chen Tao smiled and said, Brother Long, you have passed it on well. The teammates all rushed up to celebrate, with smiles on their faces. On the Tianjia forum, the war report was updated after 1 minute, and the fans looked at the text and were very excited. 5 minutes to lead. When did the Dragon Nation team ever fight such a rich war? The players in France were a little flustered. Originally, the manager's arrangement was to trap Toulon and cut the connection between him and the team, but from the first goal, it seems that it was a failure. The players in France don't know what to do. The head coach roared angrily from the sidelines, but it didn't help. In the 17th minute, Toulon once again received the ball on the right side, turned around to get rid of the 2 defenders, and then inserted the middle again. Surrounded by French players, Toulon once again sent an oblique pass. Still the same recipe, still the same people. Chen Tao plugged in again. Catch the ball, shoot. Chen Tao shouted in frustration, and Hui moved his fists. Shot deflected. Toulon laughed and applauded. The French player looked at Toulon's smile and panicked. Nîmes, in less than 20 minutes, had been beaten like this. Toulon could no longer be contained. If you continue to block, you will be killed by Toulon's assist. In the 35th minute, France finally seized the precious opportunity and scored a 1-1 draw. At this time, the Dragon Country players began to panic a little. Toulon could feel their panic and sigh in his heart. The heart conditions of the Dragon Country players were actually not as bad as imagined, but this psychological quality was really not good. Wake up. Get moving, give me a pass, fuck you. Toulon's roar called back the soul of the Dragon Country player. 3 minutes later, Toulon seized an opportunity and rushed into the box. Everyone was watching what was happening inside the restricted area, only to see the French defender defending Toulon, pulling Toulon behind him, but he could not stop Toulon from watching the goalkeeper shoot a foot. Bang! A valuable goal was scored. This goal brought back the spirit of the Dragon Country players. The most important thing is to make the Dragon Country players feel that as long as Toulon is on the field, they will not lose. With such a belief in your heart, the whole person becomes different. In the 75th minute of the second half, Mao Jianqing received a pass from Chen Tao and an indirect pass from Toulon, breaking through the French gate. 3-1. The Dragon Country players cheered. In order to seek stability, head coaching Tai did not change Toulon to the end of the game, and remained until the end of the game. In the 91st minute, Toulon caused the mistake of Benzema, who came up from the bench, scored another goal, and scored twice. 4-1. The French players were angrily exclaiming, "It's all Benzema's fault." Toulon couldn't help but smile. Benzema knelt on the ground and cried. The Toulon Cup tour ended like this. The memories of the national youth team are stuck on the stadium at the end of the game. 27 young players, as well as the manager, stood together for a group photo. Toulon, standing in the middle, and the team leader and the head coach, held the trophy together and smiled. This photo soon appeared in major newspapers and forums. Fans feel the exhalation and raise their eyebrows. Finally, an international football cup wins. Even the champion of the youth team does not know that he has been absent for decades. The biggest contributor is Su Long. How many fans are praising Su Long and the national youth team? How many fans are scolding the FA and the national team? The top management of the Football Association is now very annoyed, and he scolds Su Long in his heart. Can't you just take the big picture into account, score fewer penalties, and let our FA get by a little bit on the face? For the movements of domestic fans, Su Long did not know. After the game, Su Long met with Mendes and his guests in the cafe near the stadium. Winger, the president from Manchester City, and the director Tourt. They were already impatient and immediately wanted to sign an agreement with Su Long. Episode 68. New Journey. Premier League, here I come. Su Long had texted Mendes, before meeting Manchester City boss Ward and director Tourt. Previously proposed a goal gradient reward from Su Long. Manchester City agreed, and made some minor adjustments. After several days of tug-of-war with Manchester City, Mendes has finally made a general agreement. Manchester City boss Wardle, as well as the director Tourt personally came over. One is to see Su Long's game on the spot, and the other is to show Manchester City's sincerity. It has to be said that Mendes's negotiations are very strong, making Manchester City boss Bottle feel that he is competing fiercely with Manchester United and constantly raising his value. Su Long didn't wait long at the cafe when he saw Mendes come with Manchester City boss Wardle and director Tourt. Hello, Mr. Wardle, Mr. Tourt. Hello, Su. I watched your game, it's very exciting, Waddell said with a big smile. Thank you, I am also very honored. When I watch the game in the Dragon Country, I often see the Manchester City team playing, because there is our grandson in the Dragon Country. Wardle smiled and said, if we can negotiate, the flag of Manchester City will be you, the dragon of the Dragon Kingdom. We will have the sun and the dragon. Moreover, you are also pushed by the head coach, Mr. Kigan. After a few words of greeting between Su Long and Manchester City, they moved to the location. The crowd came to a private room in a hotel and began to get to the point. Mendes gave Shuren a detailed explanation of the contract on the Manchester City side. The first is the transfer fee of £10 million, which has been negotiated with OE. OER said that Su Long agreed, and they would release him. Then there are the details of the contract. The signing fee of £1.68 million, the down payment of £680,000, the remaining £1 million is paid in 25 months. Weekly salary of £23,000 per week, increasing by 25% per year. The appearance fee is £4,000, and the reward for scoring a goal is £2,000. One assist is rewarded with £1,000. Season goals, £280,000 for 10 goals, £880,000 for 20 goals, £1.68 million for 30 goals. There are also awards for various cups and awards for various players. The contract penalty is £60 million. The contract period is 5 years. Wardle smiled and said, Su, as far as I know, you Dragon Nation people like the good intentions of 6 and 8. Su Long and Mendes had a private conversation. Mendes was stunned and said, are you sure? Su Long nodded, and then the two returned to the negotiating table. Mendes said, Mr. Wardle, there are a few places that we would like to change. Please say. Season goal rewards, 10 goals £280,000. This grade can be removed, leaving only 20 goals £880,000, 30 goals £1.68 million on the two levels. Wardle nodded and said, very well, Su, you are so confident, and we are also confident, so what else do you want to modify? Weekly salary increased to £26,000. Mendes looked at Wardle and said. Wardle groaned, consulted with the supervisor, and said, well, I can promise you. But usually we only pay 70% of the salary at Manchester City, and all the rest of the salary and bonuses are paid at the end of the season through your image rights earnings. Mendes explained to Su Long that this image right gain is actually a tax avoidance practice. In doing so, they could save up to £2 million in taxes on the 5-year contract. Mendes had told Su Long before that the disadvantage of Manchester City was that Manchester City was very poor, so poor that the transfer fee and the signing fee are to be amortized. Of course, the player's salary is millions of pounds, and Manchester City can't swallow it. But the payment method is certainly not as bold as Manchester United. Su Long now has a deep understanding, and he thinks in his heart that as far as he knows, Manchester City has become rich after 2010 when they change owners. At that time, Manchester City, in order to buy stars, $120 million was casually lost. Now, hey, on the issue of the contract, it was quickly negotiated. In order to avoid unexpected situations, Manchester City and Su Long initialed the contract on the spot, and then gave Su Long a signing fee of 680,000 yuan. The remaining £1 million is paid in 25 months. Su Long couldn't help but complain in his heart that Manchester City was really poor. The reason why Manchester City is so anxious is because Manchester City has until now, they still think that they are competing with Manchester City for Su Long. Unbeknownst to him, Su Long had never planned to go to Manchester United. At this point, Su Long admired Mendes, And the process that followed up with always being able to gain an advantage in negotiations was that Su Long and Mendes, Manchester City boss Wardle, and director Tuyet, the four of them went to OE together to complete the formalities on OER. After that, it was Su Long who went to Manchester City for a medical examination, and after the medical examination was no problem, he could sign the contract. After a day of planes and cars, Su Long and his party finally arrived in OE. After a month, back to OE, Su Long had a different feeling. The handover between Manchester City and the original contract between the two clubs has no special requirements, that is, a transfer fee of £10 million. What Su Long had to do was sign his name and agree to the transfer. So Su Long asked Mendes to assist in the handover of Manchester City and OE, and to take a walk around the training base himself. Su Long didn't plan to take away the things in the dormitory, and gave them all to the new players and former teammates. Captain Kuntz and several other players who had settled in OE learned that Su Long had returned, and immediately came to the club training base to find Su Long. When Su Long was wandering around the training base, he happened to see Su Gao and several Dragon Country players, who were talking with assistant coach Eller. Su Long was slightly stunned. It was only the middle of June. Su Gao brought the players so early? When Eller and Su Gao saw Su Long, they immediately let the players train themselves on the pitch and walked up quickly. The players were practicing while looking at Su Long curiously. Is this Su Long? Their eyes were full of envy and jealousy, wondering if they would one day go out like Su Long. El and Su Gao walked over with smiles on their faces. Su. There you are, Su Long. Su Long nodded and said, Eller, brother Su, what are you doing? After listening to El and Su Gao, Su Long knew that this was the first batch of players who came to OE for trial training this year, and there may be a second batch and a third batch. Su Long murmured, it looks pretty good. Eller said, of these 4 people, if you can leave a suitable player, it is already very good. I am very optimistic about that Chubo. Chubo? Su Long had heard the name, so he said, Chubo is powerful. I think it is okay. El nodded. Su Gao said, well, if the other 3 are not suitable for OE, I will try to find a Bundesliga team, or even a Bundesliga team, better than playing without a ball in the Dragon Country. Su Long said, oh, yes, my girlfriend seems to have relatives in his family who are detectives in Duisburg, or should I ask her? Su Gao immediately said, Su Long, then thank you. Su Long smiled and said, you're welcome. If you can let more powerful Dragon Country players come out, it would also be a good thing. Su Gao nodded and said curiously, Su Long, are you sure you are going to Manchester City? Yes, after doing it here today, I will go to Manchester City for a medical examination. El said, it's to go to the Premier League. Those rough guys in England are stupid and have a lot of money. Su Long smiled and said, yes. El sighed and said, but also to thank the British, more than they gave £10 million. Let us relegate next season a little bit bottom. No Heo Zhao, angry. Hopefully next season we can succeed in relegation. At this time, Kuntz and a few other teammates also arrived, and Su Long chatted with them on the side of the court for a while, and OER manager Schmidt asked Su Long to sign. After the formalities on OE's side were completed, Su Long and his party were about to leave. They were going to fly non-stop to the city of Manchester, England. Su Long waved at Su Gao and said, brother Su, I'm leaving. Su Gao looked at the teenager who had left, and it seemed that he had grown a little taller than last year, and a little taller than himself. It's only been a year, and it's changed a lot. At that time, when he was in the Dragon Kingdom, he was just a short-lived teenager in the World Junior Championship. Later, he was so bold that he had to buy out the contract and go to Belgium. I believed him and brought him to Belgium. It turned out to be a bit of an accident. By chance, I brought him to Germany. In just 1 year, the Phoenix took off, soaring from the Bundesliga to the Premier League. The value of £10 million is equivalent to last year's C. Ronaldo. In retrospect, it was like a dream. All the way, Su Long, episode 69, announces the transfer, an invitation from the national football team. Just when Su Long went to Manchester City had already invited Su Dad and Su Ma to Manchester. Su Dad and Su Mom are also very concerned about their sons going to the new team. Poor parents in the world. For such an important matter as his son's change of place, Su Dad Su Mom was still not at ease, so she took a leave of absence. This year's consecutive leave of absence has made Su Mama lose her position as a group leader. However, the company considered Su Long's influence and did not deduct wages, but instead raised Su Ma's salary. The situation on Su Dad's side is similar, transferred to a vacant pension department, basically reading the newspaper every day. Don't think about promotions or whatever, but it's convenient to take time off. Soon after Su Long came out of Manchester Airport, Su Dad and Su Ma's plane arrived in Manchester. It's been more than a month since we last met. Su Dad and Su Mama also came to a place like England for the first time, looking at people of all colors in the airport, some black and white, unable to understand English, and quickly carried the phone to their son. Su Long soon arrived at the airport, found Su Dad Su Ma, and led them out of the airport. If it were not for Manchester City's help to contact the relevant staff, Su's dad and Su's mama would not have been able to come to England so soon. And by 2005, there were no direct flights to Manchester in China. Su's dad and Su's ma still went to Red Skyport and then to Manchester. After getting on the bus, Mama Su looked at England through the car window and asked curiously, "Son, how do you go farther and farther?" "I look at the map. This England is an island, just like our South China Sea island." Su Long smiled and said, "No way, they give more money." Mama Su whispered, "Secretly tell Mom, how much is the monthly salary?" Su's dad corrected next to him, "It's a weekly salary. Footballers all say weekly salary, right, son?" Su Long thought about it and said, "How to say it? 230 basic salary 20,006, all add up. A year should be up to 3 million bar." Su's dad and Su's ma's eyes were both going to pop out. "What? 3 million? Su's dad looked at Su Long and said, "The 26,000 you said won't be pounds." Su Long nodded. Su's dad and Su's mama looked shocked. 26,000 pounds a week? It is equivalent to nearly 220,000 dragon coins. Su Long played one game a week and earned a salary of almost 10 years relative to them. Su's dad and Su's mom felt that the world was crazy. Su Long looked at his father and mother in shock and smiled. The mother suddenly asked, "What about your girlfriend?" Su Long smiled awkwardly and said, "Oh, in Germany." In fact, Chloe wanted to come to Su Long, but Su Long did not want to take her to see her parents, and now young people, where there is love to see her parents. And he's only 18 years old, please. Su Long first took his father and mother to the Manchester City club. Manchester City boss Wardle and the director personally came to pick up Su Long. Su's dad was stunned. Manchester City, which used to be only seen on television, can now be felt. His son is going in to play football, or the core main shooter. Su's dad couldn't help asking, "Is son Jihai here?" Waddell was stunned and didn't understand Su Papa's Mandarin. Su Long smiled and translated. The supervisor next to him immediately said, "Son? He's back home." During the Premier League off-season, the players went back to their respective homes, and of course, there were matches in their own countries, and if I remember correctly, Sun went to the Asian Cup. Su Long nodded and said, "Did brother Sun return to China to participate in the Asian Cup?" Su Papa patted his head and said, "Yes, you see my head, I have forgotten that the physical examination of Manchester City is similar to the physical examination process of going to Monaco before. That is, the equipment of Manchester City looks a little older than Monaco." Su dad and Su mom are like a curious baby, looking left and right the whole time. There is no problem with the medical examination. Very healthy body. Manchester City boss Waddle heard the team doctor's evaluation and immediately smiled. Manchester City were very satisfied, so they moved on to the next step, which was to sign the contract. Su Long spent a day, with the help of a team of professional lawyers, to confirm that the contract was correct, and then signed the contract. Su dad and Su mama next to them watched Su Long do things without irritability, and after signing the contract then they were. Wardle and Su Long shook hands tightly. "Su, Manchester City need your strength in the April 5th season." Wardle also doesn't know if Su Long can adapt in the Premier League or play well. "I can only choose to believe in Su Long and believe in head coach Keegan. It's been too difficult for Manchester City over the years. I hope that this Dragon Kingdom striker can be the same as the Dragon Country Sun Jihai, suitable for Manchester City. Thank you, Mr. Wow. Happy cooperation. Happy cooperation." Then, he shook hands with Su Pa Su Ma, expressed his gratitude to Su Pa Su Ma for giving birth to such an excellent son, and also asked Su Pa Su Ma to rest assured that Su Long would be very good in Manchester City, which is probably what it means. Shortly after the signing was completed, Su Long met with head coach Keegan. "Hello, Mr. Keegan." Su Long was very polite. "I heard that it was Coach Keegan who decided to transfer. Su Long is such a person, who is good to me. I am good to whom?" Keegan smiled and said, "Su, welcome to Manchester City. I'm finally waiting for you to come. Actually, I've always been following you, and your performance at the Toulon Cup is very good. It's a holiday now. You can go back to Manchester by July 28th and report on 2 p.m. on August 1st. By the way, Su, you won't be in the Asian Cup too, will you?" The team's Dragon Country Sun Jihai is because of the participation in the Asian Cup, has been confirmed to return on August 10th. The Asian Cup schedule has affected the preseason training and friendly training. The first round of the Premier League was held on August 14th, and after Sun returned, he needed jet lag and needed to rest to find his form, and he could not catch up with the first round of the game. Maybe the second round, the third round of the game will not be played. Under such circumstances, Sun can only be pressed on the bench and promoted others to the main position. Therefore, Keegan suddenly remembered that Su Long was also a Dragon Country player, and he was a little flustered. Su Long thought for a moment and said, "Oh, coach, I haven't received any notice yet." Keegan said, "Su, if you're going to the Asian Cup, maybe you're going to have jet lag on the plane. It's good to win glory for your country, but you also have to weigh the pros and cons." Su Long immediately understood what Keegan meant, smiled, and said, "Coach, I promise it won't affect the league." At this time, the supervisor came over and said, "Su, at 7 p.m., we also have to cooperate with the official TV to announce your transfer, and there is filming. At 7 p.m. that day, Manchester City officially announced that Su Long had completed his transfer. 18-year-old genius, Bundesliga champion scorer, £10 million transfer. Su Long and Manchester City boss Waddell, as well as manager Keegan, were recorded by Manchester City TV in the Manchester City Stadium. In front of the camera, Su Long was wearing Manchester City's number 9 shirt and wearing a scarf for Manchester City, while Manchester City boss Ward and coach Keegan next to him were smiling. Su Long said, "Manchester City is one of the best teams in the Premier League. I am very happy to join a good team like Manchester City. I am ready for the challenges that are about to face in the Premier League." Boss Wardle said, "I am very happy to be able to facilitate the transfer of Su Long, and each of us is happy for this transfer. He will be Manchester City's greatest fortune, and as a talented striker, he has an unlimited future." Head coach Keegan said, "I'm very happy. I think we have a talented striker in the Dragon Country 100 meters. Then the most disturbing thing is that there is also Sun Jihai's phone call in." In the afternoon, Su Long had already rehearsed several times on the phone with Sun Jihai. Sun Jihai was training in the Dragon Kingdom for the Asian Cup, so he could not return. Listen to the boss. Weddle said that Sun Jihai is one of the favorite players of Manchester City fans. He has followed Manchester City from the trough of the championship to the present, is Manchester City's meritorious veteran. Manchester City people can see the struggle, hard work from Sun Jihai. "Hey, Su Long? I am Sun Jihai, brother Jihai, I am Su Long. I've always been a fan of yours. It's a pleasure to join Manchester City, and your colleagues. Haha, it's over. I watched your match in the Toulon Cup. It's so wonderful. I become your fan. I hope in the new season, you and I can help the team achieve better results. A must." Keegan, the head coach next to him, smiled and said, "Surely, the combination of Dragon Kingdom Dragon and Dragon Country Sun, I have arranged it." This recording will appear on Manchester City's official website and official television. With the transfer all sorted out, Keegan said to Su Long, "Su, have a beautiful holiday. If you have any questions, feel free to call me." "Okay, Mr. Coach." However, Su Long had just bid farewell to head coach Keegan when Su Gao called. When Su Long saw Su Gao's phone, he always had an ominous premonition. Sure enough, after the phone was connected, after the two exchanged a few words of greeting, Su Gao said the right thing. "The Football Association wants Su Long to join the national team and accompany the team to the Asian Cup. I want Su Gao to ask Su Long about the schedule." Su Long smiled helplessly, just told Keegan that he would not affect the league, and as a result, the invitation of the national football team came. Episode 70. The belated reward, the sensation in the country. On July 1st, he went to Wudu for training, participated in 2 friendly matches, and went to Takeo Worker Stadium to participate in the Asian Cup. Hey, go or don't go, win the Toulon Cup without achievement points? The number of points simulated is not enough. Su Long just thought like this, and the system interface immediately appeared in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for winning the 2004 Toulon Cup, rewarding 300 achievement points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for ranking first in the 2004 Toulon Cup goal list, rewarding 30-0 achievement points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for ranking first in the 2004 Toulon Cup assists list, rewarding 300 achievement points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for breaking the Toulon Cup single-time goal record with 11 goals, and rewarding 300 achievement points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for breaking the Dragon Kingdom single-session assist record with 5 assists, rewarding 300 achievement points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for being selected for the 2004 Toulon Cup Best Team, rewarding 300 achievement points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for being named the best player in the 2004 Toulon Cup, rewarding 300 achievement points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for scoring 12 goals in the Toulon Cup, rewarding 360 achievement points. System, I don't say rewards, you won't come out will be. Participating in one Toulon Cup rewarded 2,460 achievement points, and not a few. Su Long glanced at the achievement points, and now there are 2,500 plus again. But the number of points required to simulate once has been increased to 1,000. Sure enough, the strength has increased, the league level has increased, and the number of points required for simulation has also increased. Let's simulate how it will be like to participate in the Asian Cup. System, simulated football career. In 2004, you joined Premier League side Manchester City for a transfer fee of £10 million. In July of the same year, you joined the Asian Cup, scoring 6 goals in the tournament and helping the team win the championship. Physical attributes of 22-year-old, score 66. Technical attributes of 22-year-old, score 66. Mental attributes of 22-year-old, score 66. Life experience of 35 years old. Su Long's eyes lit up. Being able to score 6 goals in the Asian Cup means that you have 2,460 achievement points in the reused Toulon Cup, and the Asian Cup can't be less. Then go for it. Choose body attributes. Your current attributes are: physical attribute 66, technical attribute 65, spiritual attribute 65. Su Long thought about it for a moment, or choose the reward of physical attributes. After all, the number of points in a simulation has now increased to 1,000 points, which is not as rich as before. I hope that this Asian Cup trip can give more achievements. When Su Dad learned that Su Long was going to participate in the Asian Cup, he immediately patted Su Long's shoulder with excitement and said, "Son, you have a job, and you are winning glory for the country. This time to go to the national team, you are new to the country. Buy some local souvenirs here to send to your teammates, make a good relationship, and don't blame many people, right?" Mama Su also nodded and said, "Yes, you are a newcomer, it is good to give a small gift. Then let's go back after buying the souvenir." "No rush," Su Long said, "play here for a few days before you go." Mama Su hesitated and said, "British consumption is too high." Su Long interrupted his mother and said, "Mother, you have to change your thinking, your son is rich now, you old man should enjoy it, think about what to do so much." Mama Su glanced at Su Long and said, "Look at you, if you have money, you will save it, and you will use it when you marry your wife in the future." "Oh, your girlfriend," Su Long cried and laughed. "How did you talk about this matter again?" Mama Su sighed and said, "You didn't study to come out to play football, but also come out to work." The ancients said, "Start a family, you are established. Are you thinking about starting a family? I am as big as you." Su Dad interrupted, "You are as old as your son, and you have not yet graduated from high school." Mama Su glanced at Su's father, "Just talk a lot." Su Long smiled and said, "Well, Mom, I'm only 18 years old, and I'm not in a hurry about my girlfriend." Su Papa suddenly asked, "Where do you live in Manchester City? Or is it a dormitory?" Su Long shook his head and said, "No." The supervisor said, "There are many intermediary companies that can find a rental house or buy a house. If you buy a house, a 300 square meter suburban villa is about £700,000. If you rent a house, the same 300 square meter villa is about £2,000 a month." Su Long was more inclined to buy a house in his heart, because Mendes said that C. Ronaldo bought a villa of £900,000 in the suburbs, and the down payment is only 15%. Su Dad sighed and said, "Since you signed a 5-year contract at Manchester City, at least 2 or 3 years, is it okay to buy a suite?" Su Long nodded sharply in agreement. Mama Su hesitated and said, "The house here is too expensive, right? £700,000. Su Long hurriedly said, "Don't give it all at once, the down payment is only 15%. Generally no more than £100,000. That's also expensive, much more expensive than the Dragon Kingdom." Su Long thought in his heart, "Oh, after 10 years, you will not say this." Just when the Su Long family was looking at the house in Manchester, the domestic football forum turned a huge wave. The national football team has achieved nothing in the Olympic qualifiers, even the knockout rounds cannot be entered, and the fans are very angry. And Su Long's super performance in the Toulon Cup, the first place in the double list, the best team, the best player, and the most important champion, so that the fans can finally breathe and raise their eyebrows. Originally, Su Long was already very popular in the Bundesliga league, and now the Toulon Cup won the championship, defeated France twice, won the championship, and directly even passers-by pseudo-fans know the name Su Long. And not only the Dragon Country Forum, there are many old fans who do not know the internet, but they also read newspapers. Sports newspapers such as Sports Weekly, Football, etc., have reported on the Toulon Cup and Su Long, and these old fans also know the name Su Long. And now this time point is the summer vacation, it is the time for students to take a holiday, and the student fans have also heard the name Su Long through various channels. Under various factors, Su Long's name is now on fire in the Dragon Kingdom. Originally, there were some people who did not know Su Long, but now most of them know such a player. Search the internet again, and you will be even more pink. After all, Su Long is a record-breaking macho man who appears as soon as he appears. The World Junior Championship, the Bundesliga League, and the Toulon Cup all have a record of Su Long. This is just the heat of the first wave. Then, followed by the announcement of Manchester City's transfer, and the blessing of Sun Jihai, also appeared on the internet. Joining Premier League side Manchester City for a transfer fee of $10 million stunned everyone's attention. You must know that 2 years ago, in 2002, when Sun Jihai entered Manchester City, it was only £2 million. After 2 years, Su Long directly doubled 5 times, £10 million. Coupled with Su Long's achievements in the Toulon Cup, in the Bundesliga and in the World Junior Championship, all fans in the Dragon Kingdom know that Su Long's transfer fee of £10 million is worth the money. This man is so strong. At the same time that netizens were stunned, the latest issue of Sports Weekly, Football, and other sports newspapers and periodicals have made a whole page of special reports with Su Long's transfer. And its homepage, who is called Su Long, is now the biggest flow of Dragon Country football. Reporting on the homepage of Su Long's transfer, they predicted that sales would increase by more than 30%. The Dragon National Football Association also took advantage of this heat to directly announce that Su Long would enter the national football team and participate in the next Asian Cup. The fans are looking forward to it, and they are worried about whether Su Long can have a good performance in the national football team. At the same time, Su Long's fiery heat also brought fire to some people. First of all, Lu Ming, the head coach of the World Junior Championship at that time, was once again taken out and whipped. It is said that if Lu Ming reuses Su Long earlier, Long Guo will be able to win the championship in the World Junior Championship. Then Yin Tai, the head coach of the national youth team, was praised by the fans and said that he had obtained Su Long's instruction manual. At this time, Su Long, who was at the center of the storm, was still in England. After 5 days of selection, Su Long finally selected a 400 square meter villa in Stockport, in the Greater Manchester City area. Expensive is not expensive, £1 million, down payment of £150,000. But Mama Su said disgustedly, "Isn't this the rural homestead on our side? Another £1 million. Grab the money." Su Long cried and laughed. The homestead also depends on where the homestead is. In the future, such a large homestead in Beijing, there is number 20 million 30 million cannot be taken. Su Dad and Aunt Su stayed in Manchester for a week, saying that there was nothing here, like a rural village, and that she was going back. When Su Dad was leaving, he said, "Su Long, don't you go back with us?" Su Long shook his head and said, "I want to go to London and buy some gifts." "Dad, don't you mean to buy some souvenirs for your teammates in the national team?" "Oh, do you want us to go together?" Su Long quickly shook his head and said, "Don't bother you have booked your tickets, go back." Su Long hurriedly sent away his father and mother, because his girlfriend Chloe was coming. Any gift is an excuse, and after Su Long sent his father and mother away, he waited at the airport for Chloe to get off the plane. When the young boys and girls saw each other at the airport, they immediately rushed up and hugged each other tightly. "Su, I want to kill you." Chloe kissed Su Long deeply. "Me too. I haven't seen it for a few days, and I miss it very much." After finding a place and having a buffet, the two went back to the villa to play cards, and they played a loud game. Xiao Beixing was newly married, and the two were indescribable in the villa, omitting 10,000 words. 2 days later, Chloe hugged Su Long and said, "You're going to go again? Will you take me to the Dragon Kingdom?" Su Long looked at the reluctant Chloe, scraped her cute little nose and said, "We can't bring women in the Dragon Kingdom training. You don't know when you're kidnapped." Chloe muttered, "No, I'm going to Dragon Kingdom." Su Long smiled and said, "Speaking of which, my parents want to see you, or will I take you to the Dragon Kingdom and you will stay with them for a few days?" Chloe shook her head and said, "Then don't. I'm not mentally prepared yet." "Su, I didn't expect you to be such a traditional man." "Then do you like tradition?" "Like?" Chloe looked at Su Long with a silky look in her eyes and kissed him.